Hi, it's Tony Grebmeier. Thanks so much for joining us. Excited for you to be a part of Flip the Switch as we head into a brand new year. That's right, 2021. And recently had a nice conversation with several individuals and a bunch of participants. And here is the best of Ron Lynch. What is something you noticed about yourself in 2020?
No, I was actually viciously taking notes, tying some of this stuff together that other people were saying. Because um, uh, I'll tell you, one of my favorite people on this call, and there's a lot of people I adore, like Tony and Amber, is Vinny, because Vinny helped me out in one conversation 8 years ago that absolutely was the thing that I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. And all he really told me was that I was capable. And that's such a powerful thing, is to understand that everything in your life has led up to this moment to make you capable to handle the thing that is currently in front of you. And there's a hand on you the entire time, and you don't see the hand, but it's put you there and it's crafted. The failures in your life are there to emotionally equip you to deal with not only today's failures, but other people's, to help them facilitate that the pain that you've experienced is really a form of cultivating the fear out of you. So that when things happen, you're the person that's not afraid, that the other people turn to and can listen to, and you can guide them and offer perspective. So when I hear, and I have a number of friends that have kids that are in your situation, where they have a kid that has some sort of malady or sickness or condition that's difficult, that God puts those kids with those parents always. These people that are these amazing people that can do this, that no one else could have been the parent for that kid. And it's so difficult to see that you are that person, because we often think we're disconnected and alone. And for this year, I think one of the things that I learned a lot was, one, that I was equipped. And I had always been equipped for the moment, and I was particularly equipped for this year and this calamity, because I could step forward and speak my truth. And I knew as a marketer that I had to find something that was actually valuable to the audience and to the world, and not to me. And so I just declared that thing of value without having any idea of how I was going to execute it. I said, this is what needs to be done. People need to take care of each other. People need to feed each other, because people are going to lose their jobs fast, and this government's never going to be able to do it. This is a complete discombobulation, but I do know that 85% of us are really good people and would feed our neighbor. So could you just do that? And I set that paradigm out there, and it was a very Tom Sawyer helped me paint the fence business plan. And every time I needed something, my phone rang and it was being handed to me. That the God and the universe collided to provide me with absolutely everything that I needed, that it didn't require me to really do that much. That the declaration was so valuable, the model was so valuable to the world, that the world fulfilled it. And I got a lot of credit and a lot of praise for that, that's super, and that's nice, but that's not the purpose of it. That value creation is not about extraction. And we get into business and we think, how do I get money from the customer? How do I extract? How do I extract? And this idea of providing first and trusting that the extraction for you and your family is going to happen, it happens. And then you call Vinny and you ask him how to make sure that you make the best tax advantage of that as possible. But as you grow, as you think about what you are worth and how much you are worth. Once upon a time, I had an employer, and I started in the grocery business, and he gave the entire company, and this guy was making boatloads of money, and he gave every employee this as a Christmas gift, a silver coin. And at that time in the late 80s, those were worth about $8 or $9. And every employee just rolled their eyes. And the guy said, it's going to be worth something someday. Hold on to it. And he was trying to teach a principle, and it didn't land well. You can imagine people getting an $8 bonus after working all year. It did not land well. But I realized that that's how he saw his people. That's the value he saw. But I assigned that value to me in that moment. And that was my mistake. Years later, I had somebody give me this. That guy, that was about a day's worth of my labor to him. This became my day's worth of labor, which is an ounce of gold. And I do the calculations now, it's 35 years later, of what my labor is worth. And it's probably about an ounce of gold a day, 365 days a year, minus the taxes, whatever. And most people will take their day and their year and their life, and they'll take those gold coins that represent a day of their life, and they divide them into 7 piles and call them Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And they just repeat. They go out into the world and they just drop the same coin into the same slot, and they have Monday night football, and they have Tuesday night bunco, and they have Wednesday night bowling, and they have Thursday night. And they live in a cycle of repetition to convince themselves that they are never going to die. And the greatest gift COVID gave all of us was the recognition that we are going to die. We have finite time, tick-tock. If you want to spend your life living the same 7 days over again, you're a fool. If you take these wonderful gold coins of life that God gave you, and every day play just a little bit, play the game a little bit differently, you're going to get so much more knowledge, so much more experience, and you're going to become so much better at being alive. And you're going to be so much more valuable to the people around you. That concept right there is just doing it a little bit differently every day, spending it a little bit differently, learning something a little bit different. Don't get into extreme repetition. Will change everything for you. And out of that, in the last 35 years, the one thing that I really had to change myself in the last 2 years was how I valued my wife and my kids, because I was so busy making money. I wasn't busy making family that I'd had. My kids are 25, 24, 19. My wife and I have been married 30 something years. But I let those relationships slide. They didn't get crushed, but I had you think you got all the oars going and you're still screwing up one oar. And that's the nature of being a human being. So forgive yourself, recognize that this is all temporary, and you are fully equipped to be absolutely awesome because someone has preloaded you with the software your whole life to maximize who you are.
Ron Lynch, what do you do on a daily basis that will help you moving forward in 2021?
I walk 3 miles a day with my dog with my headphones in, not listening to anything but my heartbeat. So I must be present with my own thoughts and my own body, and I think better when I move. When I get done with that, I'm pretty clear on what I need to accomplish. And so I tend to focus on 4 or 5 tactical things a week that can be accomplished. I'm not big on goals, actually. I'm big on the interim things, because if I can do the interim things, I'll get to the goal. And if I hate doing the interim things, I know that subconsciously I'll sabotage the goal. So I'd rather do one thing a day that's really productive and have it be real than busy myself with a goal that's so far off in the future. And then the last thing I think is, just because happiness is a moment that happens, because happiness is reflective of a balance in life, right? The only reason you experience happiness is because you experience unhappiness. Like, it's a moment, it's a spike on the thing. That doesn't mean that you can't do what you do with joy. Joy is optional, and you can choose joy in everything that you do. And the happiness comes when the happiness comes. So if you can teach yourself to be joyful, I mean, it sounds weird, but you can bury your parents with joy and be miserable while you're doing it. But you can do it with joy because you had a great life with them. And so find joy in everything that you do with your actions. And that is the fertilizer for the stuff that will come back to you.
Thanks for joining us today at Flip the Switch. To learn more, visit fliptheswitch.com, download the worksheet, and you can participate yourself. Until next time, go make today the absolute best day of your life.